Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I needed to grab a bottle of water before we got started. It has been super cold here in Kansas again, and we have a gas furnace. And so it heats the air a little differently than like central heating and air, and it makes the air very dry. I go through more. Hold on just a second. Okay, so a car stopped in front of my house, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that I 100% needed to deal with right at this very moment. Um, it makes the air really dry and stuff, and I go through so much more hand lotion during the winter months than I do in the summer. I mean, I go through a lot of hand lotion in the summer, and I always try to put hand lotion on after like I do dishes and stuff, just because sometimes I don't have gloves. But the winter seems to be a lot worse, and because it's been so cold lately, like we've had the furnace up again, and so I'm getting really dry. So I needed to grab a bottle of water before we got started. So, how is everyone doing this morning? Are you staying craftily distant? I know that we are. Sam is still going to work. He was home yesterday. It kind of seems like his hours are going to be changing up a little bit here in the near future. He will be working just a little bit on Mondays and then his 40-hour work week. Vicky G, welcome in. I hope you are doing well up there in New York. It looks like maybe the email alert went out from YouTube. Not quite yet. Okay, not a problem. We will just chit chat and whatnot until other people get here. I see there's 5 people watching. For those of you who are not chatting in the stream, I want to welcome you as well. Jenny, JLB Nerdy, hello, how are you doing, my friend? So I posted a picture on my Instagram yesterday, and I will get to that in a second. I promised I would. But just a reminder that our morning stream does have a sponsor for part of it. It is Michelle Hill with Scentsy, and that's actually who was popping in front of my house. She dropped off something for me. So thank you to Michelle for being a channel sponsor. She is greatly appreciated. If you are looking for a Scentsy rep or you know of someone who is, please share her information. It scrolls down at the bottom of the screen during part of the morning segment. So make sure to let her know that Lena with PSV sent you. So yesterday we talked a lot in Craftily Distant about the upcoming trips and the trips that we had taken, and I talked a little bit about our Universal trip, and I wanted to share with you guys this photo. And this photo is actually, there's a really funny story about this photo. We had spent part of the day down in Disney Springs. And so we had been just kind of wandering around Disney Springs and checking out the shops and getting our free chocolate from Ghirardelli. And as it does in Florida, it was one of the, what do we call it? Crazy freak thunderstorms that can pop up out of a clear blue sky. So Sam and I are rushing through trying to get back to the parking garage because we were driving, and we got caught in this rainstorm. So we ducked into Blaze Pizza. If you don't know what Blaze Pizza is, it is where it's a build your own pizza. place in Disney Springs. They have them at other places and around in the U.S. The Dolfoli crew, hello, welcome in Meredith. I hope that you are having a wonderful time, a wonderful day. And we, just FYI, if you are staying at Disney and you are on the dining plan, Blaze Pizza is considered a quick service. So that's just something to note. Hey, Griswold Family Vacay, welcome in. So we ducked in and we each got a pizza. And they're like, do you want a salad? And we're like, sure. They gave us enough for 2 people. As you can tell, we split it. So the rain had kind of stopped by the time we were getting ready to head outside. We're like, oh, awesome. We can get to the car and not have to worry about it. Oh my gosh, we were no sooner 4 or 5 steps outside of Blaze, and here it comes again. Oh, and so we're like I'm in flip-flops, which is like the attire of my people. And I was trying to like grip my shoe, like the tongue in between that tongue piece in between your big toe and your second toe, like you could kind of grip it. I was trying to grip it, not slide out of them, not slip and fall on my face. I'm carrying food. It was the funniest thing. Oh, and I'm wearing a white shirt. Let me show you. I think it's back one. Nope. Maybe. I'm showing you these from, yeah, see, this was right after we had gotten in the car, or we were in the car and we were driving. You can kind of see on Sam's side there is like water droplets. I mean, we were soaked from head to toe, guys. It was so funny. By the time we got back to to the timeshare, to what we were staying at Westgate Lakes, we were absolutely drenched, and so were the boxes of pizza. But the pizza was still fine. As you can see, we grabbed coffee glasses because for some reason there were no wine glasses or anything in the cabinets. There were 2 plates, 2 cups, as you can see. There were sets of 2, and there was a corkscrew, which was a good thing because while mine was Chateau de Screwtop, Sam's was actually corked. It's some wine that he had picked up at Walmart when we first got into Orlando. But I will tell you that this photo, it generates so many good memories. Agreed, Jenny. It doesn't matter the shape of the glass, it just matters what is in it. And so I was drinking Barefoot Moscato, and Sam was drinking some gross red stuff. I am not a red wine person. Though my friend Jess has really been converting me to red wine. I guess after a couple glasses of something else, you really don't care what it is. That could be it too. So this was such a fun afternoon, and it brings back such good memories for me. I remember kind of slishing and sloshing and sliding through Disney Springs with these pizzas and sauce and salad. But I think every trip has that one particular moment that it doesn't matter like what else happens on the trip. You remember that one specific thing and it can bring a smile to your face. On our very first trip to Disney, and I've talked about this some, Sam did not want to go. It took me doing a lot of convincing. It took me doing it on the absolute cheapest way that I knew to do it, because Sam was like, we're not going to stay on property. It's too expensive. We can find, we can stay off property. And, and so it was kind of, we booked a hotel through Expedia, through one of their, buy it now. We didn't know the resort until after it was done. type of things. And we got there, and it was one of our, I think it was like our second day. We were in Epcot, and you've probably seen I've shown the picture before. It's of Duffy and Sam, and Duffy made Sam squat down on the floor, like, because Duffy thought he was too tall. And so Duffy, once Duffy was taller than Sam, Duffy was okay. And that Sam fell in love with Duffy. And I know a lot of people didn't like Duffy or didn't understand who Duffy was or what his significance was. Over in Tokyo, they love Duffy. There's Duffy and Shelly May, and there's like a turtle friend, and there's so many other characters that we didn't get in the US just because Duffy wasn't as big. Um, but that Duffy made Disney for Sam. It made him okay to go back. And little by little, things that Sam enjoyed and loved about Disney have been taken away. Hold on just a second. When my parents call back to back, I need to. Oh, parents. Sorry, everybody. I'm working on House. I'm listening, but had to stop and say, "What a cheapskate." No, not really. He was for Sam. Disney, I just wasn't his thing. He, um, it was supposed to be a one and done trip, but on the way home, oh my gosh, if you guys have never driving into Florida is okay, but driving out of Florida seems like it takes you 15 years to get out of the state. No offense to those who live in Florida. We were probably about 6 hours into the drive, which we were still in Florida. And he's like, "Okay, when are we going to book the next trip? When are we going next year?" You could you could have flipped the car over and I would have been less surprised. He really did enjoy it more than he thought he did. He thought the characters were going to be roaming around, and his fear was that he was going to have some sort of military PTSD reaction and take out Mickey Mouse, which isn't true. Now we know that they have character-specific meets and whatnot. Good morning, Alyssa Sternberg. Welcome in. Glad that you're here. Um, so, um, but they've taken away some of the things that really meant Disney to Sam, and one of those things was Duffy. Sam just fell in love with Duffy. When we were on um, our trip in 2018, we actually happened to find a Duffy, not one of the stuffed Duffys like a teddy bear type, but one of the more like set on a shelf type. He was dressed up like in a safari from Animal Kingdom, and so Sam actually he had to have that Duffy. So we brought that Duffy home, and it's setting up with my teddy bear collection. Um, he Talking Mickey was another thing that really, really just got to Sam on our first trip. Like the fact that Mickey sang me happy birthday, and that he did a card trick with me, and he did more than just smile and take a picture. He actually interacted. That that meant like it was like Sam was 3 again, and it was awesome. And then they took away the train show welcoming. Um, and where the characters come on in the train and they pick a family of the day, and um, you know they sing to you and stuff, and they're just little by little that seems to be things that really meant Disney to Sam are going away. So when we had originally planned and we had booked a bounce back um, for 2018, but this was around the time when Disney made the announcement that they were going to be starting um, to charge for parking. Sam and I at the resorts, Sam and I are like, we actually still aren't okay with that. It's something that has been free for so long to resort guests that we both feel that it's still not okay. If they're going to charge someone parking, maybe charge an hourly fee like they do at the Universal Resort if you're not staying there. Um, but those who have already paid to stay on property, it should already be built into um, that room fee. And that's Sam and I's personal opinion. That's my personal opinion as a travel agent. That we pay enough for these rooms. Why? And the other thing is why? This is a whole nother tangent that I'm on. Sorry, guys. Why is each level of? It's not just here's a parking fee. Um, for the resorts. It's no, we're going to charge value this amount and moderate this amount and deluxe this amount. You could have several like $500-$600 just in parking fees if you're at a moderate to deluxe. So it's one of the we and people are like, well, Universal charges for parking at their resorts. No, Lowe's charges parking at their resorts, and they always have. Since day one, they have charged parking because those hotels are not owned by Universal. They are owned by a separate company who has partnered with Universal to provide hotels. For some people, it may feel the same. For us, we feel like it is two different things just because it's something that it doesn't matter if it's at Universal or somewhere else. Lowe's charges parking for their guests. It's not something that's included in there. It's not a fee that is automatic. So after they even made this announcement to charge parking, Sam and I had a discussion. He was at that point he wasn't a supervisor yet. He was working on wiring and lighting for some of the truck and trailer beds, and so he could actually have Bluetooth headphones on like I do, and have his phone in his pocket, and he could actually we could have a conversation while he was working. Man, sometimes I miss that. um, and he and I were like, well, what do we do? Do we stick with the trip where we're not really in agreement on what has just happened, and or do we change up our plans? Well, at this point, our dates were already set because we had already purchased airfare. Yeah, it is sad that a lot of the entertainment has been taken away. I hope that once the parks are up and running again, that we will see some of that entertainment come back. Unfortunately, I don't see it happening soon, which is very sad. Sam and I got to talking, and we were looking at like hotels. Like there's some. We said, well, why don't we could do Universal? We had talked about it before. So I started doing some research, and I'm like, okay, let me call the base, the military base, and see how much Universal tickets are. We already knew, because Sam was still active guard at that time, that we could get a one-day ticket each to SeaWorld for no cost. It would just cost us parking and food if we wanted. And so I called up to the base and they gave me the price, and I don't remember how much it was. But we're like, okay, well, that's completely doable, and I can pick those up, but because I'm a spouse, I can do that. So we started making the changes to the trip. We got the whole SeaWorld ticket thing figured out, and we got our free tickets, and we got the papers printed out for that. And so once we did that, we decided, okay, well, when I was looking at the website, we saw that they had a all-day dining pass, and so we did get the universal all-day dining, and that was really nice because we could have a snack or whatever whenever we wanted to. It's every hour, so like say at 9:50 we used it the first time, we could use it anytime after 12:50 or 10:55. So that was really nice. We could snack and stuff all through the day, and bottled like drinks and stuff weren't counted in that hour. You could get those more frequently if you needed drinks, which was nice. We also purchased the photo key, which is their photo package. There's not a whole lot of places to get photos taken, but I wanted to be able to get things like ride photos and stuff. And things like the green screen photos. And I've been sharing some of those photos both on Instagram and on my travel agency page. We did that one day. We also did, hold on guys, my nose is starting to itch really bad. Maybe I'm allergic to you guys. I don't know. Just kidding. So we we met up with a new friend. I am on the website. If you've heard of it, Disboards. It's a forum mainly for Disney, but they do have people that talk about like the cruise line, to all the different cruise lines, and SeaWorld and Universal. And we actually got to meet up with one of the gals from there. Excuse, I am a mess this morning, guys. I'm sorry. And we have actually been friends for 2 years now, and it's so cool that I'm getting to read her most recent trip report. And oh my gosh, guys, it makes me want to be at SeaWorld and Universal so bad right now. And so we did that, and we also did the return. We did the Return to Sleepy Hollow dessert party, and it's not something that they offered last year, and I haven't heard about it yet this year. But if I do, I will let you guys know what it is. It was so much fun. They set up chairs in the stables with the horses, and literally what they did is they showed the old cartoon, The Return to Sleepy Hollow, and then afterwards all this smoke and fog comes at you, and there's the headless horseman, and you get your picture taken, and it was so much fun. I will find a picture to show you guys of that. We really enjoyed. Sam's favorite movie is Return to Sleepy Hollow, and so he didn't really know that we were going to do this until I had already booked it, and he doesn't look like he's having a great time in this picture, but if you know Sam, he doesn't smile a whole lot. I don't understand why sometimes. Okay, why is this doing that? Okay, that's as good as it's gonna go. Okay, here is the photo. It's actually a live horse, and you could see that it was fun. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. But that was our first. That was we did SeaWorld in the morning. We went back to the room. We were absolutely drenched, and I had to end up washing this top because we had gotten soaked. It is a really cool event, and I really hope that they didn't offer it last year because they're in the midst of all that construction over for the new DVC where River Country was. And so I know that they're like redoing some of the stables and stalls and stuff, and so it wasn't offered, but I'm hoping that they will be offering it. If they don't this year, which I understand, I hope that they bring it back next year because a lot of people really enjoyed it. There are two different levels that you could purchase for this particular event. There was just the basic level where you got a seat and each person in attendance got a bag of pre-popped popcorn. And like, I'm not meaning like, here's a bag of popcorn the size of my phone. I am meaning, hey, I just grabbed a 16 to 20 ounce bag of popcorn off of the shelf at the grocery store. It was Pop Secret, I think it was Pop Secret. It was really good. Sam got the caramel and I got the cheddar. So it was really nice because we just ate one of them while we were there, and we were able to take the other one back and have it as a snack throughout the week in our room. Um, and then because we did the specialty party, we got little lunch cooler bags, and I don't know what happened to my cooler bags. But we got lunch cooler bags, and they had a limited edition pen in them. They had a lanyard that says "Return to Sleepy Hollow" on it. I actually have that. This was the lanyard. It says "Return to Sleepy Hollow," and it had like a little wooden board on it. That was like a kind of a press pass type thing, and you had to wear that because only the higher level got that, and that got you into the dessert party that was offered. So there were two seatings. There was an early seating and a late seating, and in the middle was a dessert party like across the way. So people who saw the movie first had dessert afterwards. People who saw the movie second had dessert kind of in the middle, and there was alcoholic drinks and non-alcoholic, and everything was all included. It was a really fun event. And if they bring it back, I really do recommend, if you have the time and the cost isn't an issue, I would 100% recommend going. So after that started the Universal portion of our trip, and we had purchased military tickets, and we had to go to guest services to get our tickets finalized. You end up with paper tickets. You can hear it. Paper tickets. And they say Commander Navy Installations Command, valid any 4 days before expiration. And it is a 3-park, 4-day military promo code. And it expired back in 2018, but you can see, so I don't mind showing you what it looks like on the back. But this is the military tickets. Even if you were Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Marines, they all said Navy on them. And then we also had to redeem for our Horror Nights tickets, because when we originally decided to go, there was only a couple nights of Horror Nights that were going on during our trip. But that is the first year that they had Stranger Things as a house. And it was so popular in September that they actually had to add in dates. And so we had the BOGO promo on tickets, buy one night, get one night free. And so I called and I talked to the gal at Universal, and I said, hey, look, we would like to upgrade our tickets, if it's at all possible, to the frequent fear pass. And she's like, okay, let me get your email, da da da. She's like, oh yeah, not a problem. It's going to be X amount. It was actually cheaper to upgrade to the frequent fear pass than it was to just purchase one night. And we ended up, if we had went all the nights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we would have been able to go 6 times. And I want to say we only went 3, but this is what the Halloween Horror Nights tickets look like. Now, unlike at Disney, where everything is on a magic band, literally everything is ticket form at Universal. And if you have never been to Universal and you are working on planning a trip to Universal, you will need a lanyard. A lanyard will be your best friend. And here's why. It holds everything that you're going to need throughout the day. If you purchase the dining plan, anyone can purchase a quick service dining plan, whether you are staying on property or off property. You can purchase the quick service dining plan. If you are staying at a Universal Hotel or Lowe's Hotel as part of a package, you can purchase the dining plan, which is 1 sit down, 1 quick service, 1 drink, and 1 snack. We had the quick service dining plan, and it's like a little credit card. And so we had that, but then when it came to our tickets, Sam kept our dining cards in his wallet, because in our pouch, for me, I had on one side, I had my regular park ticket, and on the back, I had my Horror Nights ticket, because for some of the rides, you cannot take your bags and stuff on the ride. You have to put them in lockers. And you need your ticket, your barcode, to show that you are a guest that day and to get in and out of your locker. So literally, I had my tickets like this, front and back. And then I also had our photo package card, and I'll talk about that in a second. So literally, unless you want to be pulling in and out a wallet or potentially lose a ticket out of your pocket, you are going to want a lanyard. I wanted Horror Nights lanyards for our trip, and I actually just went to eBay and found some old Horror Nights lanyards. You can do that. You could go to like Party City and get dollar lanyards from the dollar area. You go to Dollar Tree, but you will need to make sure that you have some sort of like little pouch. They do sell zipper pouches at Walmart. They also you can get them on Amazon. So they do have some like self-sealing pouches, I think, and I think those would work. I don't see why they wouldn't, because you really don't have to be pulling your tickets in and out of them, because you can literally just scan them through the plastic. If you are going to do a self-sealing one, I recommend that you have 2, especially if you are the person carrying the photo pass one, because you will want to make sure that this is accessible. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Universal Photos. My Universal Photos is owned by the same company that does the SeaWorld photos. If you look at the Photo Key website and you look at the My Universal Photos website, you will see that it's the same company. It's the same setup. When you purchase, if you decide not to purchase the photo package, if you see a photographer around, they will hand you a blue card with your photo on it. There's a little code that they'll scan on the back and they'll hand it to you. And they will do that at every photographer. It's not like at Disney where you get a photo pass card for the day. They will hand you one from each photographer. Thankfully, on Disboards, I had learned about that there was a Facebook page, and there was a spot talking about the photo package on Facebook, and it's called My Universal Photos. I've talked about it before, and they were running a Mardi Gras special about this, because we made the changes to our trip in mid-March of 2018. And so I had all the paperwork and I had it printed out and purchased it in advance. And we went into the photo studio and they gave me a lanyard, which I don't have. I didn't want to bring 5,000 lanyards home because I had a lanyard from SeaWorld. I had a lanyard from this. I had another lanyard from something else. So many lanyards. But it had a pouch and it had, because photographers are trained to look for the Universal Photos lanyard, or if you don't want to use that lanyard, make sure to say, hey, I have the photo package already. I don't need a blue card. If you here's something really, really, really important that you need to remember, and people do not realize this until it is too late. Photos that are on a blue card, they expire, they delete them at the end of the day. So after our first day, because I'm using this particular card because it's from the Harry Potter area. They take your photo before Gringotts. This Gringotts photo was gone in theory the first day. But because after the ride was over, I went to the Harry Potter photo counter there and I said, hey, I have a photo package card. I need you to put this photo on my account. All they did was they scanned my yellow card. They scanned this card. They handed them both back to me and said, have a great day. These photos didn't expire until just a couple weeks ago. When I got an email saying, hey, don't forget, if you haven't downloaded your photos, you need to do that because they're only valid for 2 years. It's not a bad deal, valid for 2 years. They're trained to look for this yellow card. Now, when you get off of the Gringotts ride, if you've been to Universal, you can make an extra photo that you can purchase. That one is not free with your to be put onto your account. That one is a paid photo, and I really wish that I could went ahead and purchase at least one. As you can tell, we went on it at least three different times that I can find the little cards for. And then there's a whole nother color of card for Universal. You're probably going, oh my gosh, this is so complicated. It's really not. Think of the blue card as someone who hasn't purchased Memory Maker, and and they've purchased it's just one day and photos are gone unless you purchase Memory Maker. This is what they call their event photo card. It is gray. We got this at the Character Dining. It is something that's offered during Halloween Horror Nights. It is where you can go have dinner at Monsters Cafe, and they have characters from the scare zones and houses that come in and take pictures with you. And I actually have a few to show you for that. Application window. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. Gotta figure out which one that's. Stop showing that. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I'm sharing the right screen now. Here it is. Okay, so it starts out with Igor, and so he is here. He is talking to Sam about measuring his head. I videoed this, and I don't know what it is about vacations and my phone, but again, my phone stopped working and didn't start like saving stuff for a couple days, and I even tried using a recovery app to find the photos, and it wasn't able to recover all of the photos and video, and it sickens me. So here is my number one tip for you. If you have a Google device, make sure that the sync is on between your phone and your Google Photos. And even if it is, and do a force sync every once in a while and make sure that it is grabbing and saving those photos and those videos into your Google Photos drive. That way, if something happens, you have those photos, you have those videos. I wish I had some of those videos because I have a video of Sam dancing with Marilyn. I talked about it yesterday that I don't have anymore. This whole video of them measuring Sam's head, I don't have anymore because I 100%, even though I wasn't doing YouTube at the time that I took them, if I had those videos, I could still put them up. Now, granted, I do have some photos and the photos for with Marilyn aren't even there, but I have a few photos from Horror Nights from the Character Dining that Sam and I could do a video and talk about Character Dining and Halloween Horror Nights. And so that's something that's on our list of if we need like a filler video, we might do. Deborah Reeves, welcome in, says, really love your pirate fireworks party. I would like to do it, and I would love to do the Headless Horseman thing too. So great. Deborah, welcome in. Yes, the last couple videos from our 2019-2020 vacation are of the Pirates and Pals fireworks cruise, and it was going to be a really long video anyway. But that was also about the time that my phone was messing up on vacation. So I made it into 2 videos. And so if you haven't seen those, I really encourage you to go watch them. They're pretty funny. If you haven't done Pirates and Pals, don't think that it's just for kids. It is a lot of fun for adults too. So it was the same way with the event photo card. What they did was they had some characters that came around that you just took selfies with. Like there was a character from The Purge, and there was a vampire from Vamp 85, and a couple others that did just selfie type photos. But then they had a photographer with the witch from Scary Tales, Sam from Trick or Treat, that they used the event photo card. I did ask if they could just put them directly onto my photo package card, and they said no. And so, but the funnier part is when I went to go have them take these photos and put them on here, the guy at the counter in the Universal store goes, why didn't they just use your yellow card? And I'm like, because they told me that they weren't allowed to. And the guy literally went, I have a migraine. I have a migraine. I have a migraine. Apparently, some of the guys that were doing photos were new and didn't realize that this was a prepaid thing that you get. So I will say that there is a big difference between the photo package at Universal and the photo package at Disney. And I do have a video coming up that Sam and I are doing that is the difference between the two and what our opinions of both are. Just because if you've never experienced the photos, if you've never been to Universal and you buy the photo package, do not expect it to be the same way as at Disney. I 100% tell you will be disappointed. It's an outside service, and they only have photographers in certain locations, and they aren't typically with characters. So like when the Simpsons meet, or when Betty Boop or Lucy, Marilyn, Scooby and the gang, Dora and Diego and Popeye and Olive Oil and any of the Kung Fu Panda, it is going to be a character handler that takes the photo for you. So be prepared to hand over your camera or your phone. And here's my advice. Make sure to tell them, please take at least 5 or 6, because if you don't, they will take 1 photo. And so make sure to say, hey, would you take like maybe 5 or 6 photos, please? And if you're wanting, hey, I'd like a photo with just me and the gang, and I'd like a photo with just my husband and the gang, or Scooby is my favorite, so after we're done with that, I want a photo with just Scooby. Don't be afraid to tell them that, because they are just there with the characters. They've kind of been thrown into a position of photographer because it's a license. From what they have told me at my Universal Photos, it is a licensing thing, and sometimes they can do it and sometimes they can't, which is why they're like, there's a few photographers out during horror nights, but they're in very, very specific locations and they don't change. Like, when we were there in 2018, there was the church kind of leading in right by Mel's Drive-In, which becomes Mel's Die-In. And the photographer could stand in kind of a, like, in that area, and he could do a photo kind of in front of Mel's. He could do a photo in front of the church, but he couldn't like turn and get all of like the pumpkins from Twisted Traditions. He wasn't allowed to do that. So it's very interesting to me what they can and can't do with photos, and it seems to change like on a daily basis. Right now, My Universal Photos is running a sale. They used to run sales really often. There used to be one for Mardi Gras, and then spring break, and then summer vacation, and Halloween Horror Nights. And the past couple years, they haven't really been running as many specials as they had in the past. It wasn't until people kept messaging them this year that right before everything happened, they actually put out a photo package, and it was only supposed to be good for purchase until the end of March. Well, they have now extended it that this photo package is on sale until the parks open. So the nice thing about it is that it doesn't expire. You can go to My Universal Photos on Facebook. Over here. Sorry. My Universal Photos, and click on their pre-sale link that they have in the comment on the page, and there's several different ones to choose from. I am excited that they are adding the one that we had when we went in 2018 had some smaller prints, some larger prints, had a big poster print. I actually asked if they would be willing to give me some actual a couple 3 8x10s instead of the poster print, just because we had carry-ons, and they were really nice about it. And they said, yeah, that's fine, but we could do 2 8x10s and 2 4x6s, which would be kind of the cost equivalency. And I said, that's fine. I appreciate that. I appreciated them doing that, because they didn't have to. They could have said, no, so so sucks to be you. And this time it comes with a couple smaller photos. The 5-day consecutive package for, I think it's $80, includes a Shutter Buttons session video over in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. That's where they do like a green screen and you like do different things. I will say that if you are any house other than Slytherin and you want like your house robes, you will need to bring your own house robes, because the only ones they have for use are Gryffindor robes. And the package comes with a Rip Ride Rocket ride video, and I'm pretty excited about that, to be quite honest, because Sam has not ridden Rip Ride Rocket. He was really hesitant to ride things without me in 2018. Right before we went, I had a couple of episodes, and I think I had just been diagnosed with my asthma, and he was really worried to leave me for like a set amount of time. Exactly, Jenny. Just kind of like how you can't get a photo pass with Mary Poppins because Mary Poppins owns the copyright to her face, and they cannot sell a photo in the parks of like portrayal of her face. So if you want a photo with Mary, you can take it, but Memory Maker won't take it. It is actually the same with the monkey from Tarzan's buddy. I think it's, who's the voice of that? Whoopi Goldberg, I think, is the voice. And they can't do, if you notice, and I think they can now, but when we went to our first Halloween party in 2014, they had to use our phone or our camera to take a picture with Tarzan, Jane, and Turk. That's the name, Turk. because Memory Maker wasn't allowed to do that. But the second time we went to the Halloween party, they could. So maybe it was a change in that. But honestly, if you guys are planning to go to Universal either this year or next year, I would really recommend, if it is in your budget, to go to My Universal Photos on Facebook and check out that pre-sale link. Just because it's going to save you money in the long run, because typically an $80 is a 3-day consecutive package when it's not on sale. They do have, let's see. You know what? I do have it up here. Let me stop sharing what I'm sharing here. Stop sharing. Share screen. Chrome tab. Universal Photos Presale. Okay. So here are the regular what they've got. A 3-day digital photo package is $89.99. 1 day is $70. A 1 year is $139. You can see unlimited downloads for a year. And I want to make perfectly clear this is wording here. A universal annual pass is not required for a 1-year digital package. So if you plan to go a couple times, but you have looked at the price of an annual pass and you said, hey, look, the times that we would be going, if we bought an annual pass, we'd have to buy one of the top 2 because of blackout dates. It's cheaper to buy tickets or whatnot. But you want to buy the annual, like the longer photo package, you can do that without having an annual pass. But then if you scroll down here, they have these sales. The sale pricing. They have a 5-day spring special. It includes a 5-day consecutive days of digital photos once activated in park. So make sure to notice that once you're activated in the park, it does not start the day that you purchase it. It comes with one 5x7 in park print, one 8x10 in park print. That is very, very important to remember. You cannot call once you get home to get those printed. They have to be done at the parks. And if you are wanting a Harry Potter print from like maybe Gringotts or the ride in the castle, those 2 must be printed at that photo kiosk in the Wizarding World. That's very important to remember. A Shutter Buttons video and a Rocket video. And it is $79.99. So it's $80 here for 5 days with the extras, which is $10 cheaper than their normal 3-day digital package. Then they have, for $100, they have the 10-day consecutive, which comes with the same perks. And then they have an 18-month for $130. So if you are planning to get like an annual pass, or you're going for enough times in an 18-month time period, this special may end up being your better bet than just buying a whole bunch of the smaller specials. Griswold family's a Slytherin. Danny's a Slytherin. I wouldn't have seen that, Danny, actually. So that is kind of what it has been, almost an hour of chatting with you about past trips and about some of the things that I would recommend for an upcoming Universal trip. Not typical, not crafty related, but I've done some thinking. And when I first started my Sunday live streams, they really were supposed to be crafting related. That was the whole goal of them, was to do a fun craft project. And it really kind of got away from that. So I think that Craftily Distancing will be more like kind of a talk show, which is what Scrapper Sunday has kind of turned into. And use it to talk about things like, the difference between the 2 dining plans, or about Universal's Photo Pass, or the Photo Pass at SeaWorld, or any, things that you guys might have questions about that maybe you don't have the time to do research on, or just a question that pops in your head. Say, hey, Lena, do you know anything about XYZ? Do you think it's something you could talk about on Craftily Distancing? So that is what I'm going to start doing with Craftily Distancing. If you have something that you'd like me to talk about, don't hesitate to send that to me. I'm happy to do some research on it. There are 6 people still watching. I'm glad that you guys are here. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's theme is a little different. Tomorrow is the 108th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic. And so we will be having a special live stream about the Titanic and things about the Titanic tomorrow. So it will not be necessarily theme park related, but I think it will be something you guys will enjoy anyway. I want to say thank you so much for being here. If you are watching on the replay, I'm glad that you took the time to watch. If you are looking for other family-friendly content, make sure to check out thelifeplace.com. Have a wonderful day. Wash your hands. Sanitize your workspace. Bye, guys.